In early October 2016, hiker James Rankin stumbled upon a disconcerting scene during his hike in Berkeley-Jackson County Park. Amidst an old campsite, he encountered numerous authentic missing person posters affixed to a tree, each depicting individuals from various U.S. states. Promptly, James began recording his discovery and reported it to the authorities.
Okay, we're deep in the woods. Sort of, we're like on the border, because like there's a side of the woods where there's people's houses. But I came to a trail that led to a trail that led to a trail up the hill. But I saw what looked like a fire pit. And remember, we're still in the woods. We're still in the woods, right? I don't know what this is. Do you see the trees? Look at the white. Okay. I was like, okay, these are probably no trespassing signs, or maybe it's something for the wildlife or something. Look what these are. What the is going on in here? This is Utah, Florida. They're all different. They're all different. Every single one. This one's from Georgia. And look at it. Like, look where the we are. Who the does something like this? And we got this one. And this obviously, you could tell, these aren't new. Like, not just that this is 2012, Noblesville, Indiana, right? Look at the tape, look at the water damage. These bits have been hanging up for a while. Let me just, look at that. And over here in the middle of the fire pit, that's a shovel.
However, the police dismissed it as a Halloween decoration, much to James's dissatisfaction. He noted that the posters, found on October 3rd, seemed to have been in place for a considerable time. Later that year, when James revisited the site, he encountered multiple no trespassing signs, effectively closing the chapter on the puzzling incident, as the police had already concluded their investigation.
Okay, first of all, I am not violating any of these no trespassing signs. I'm simply not. I came here only to show you and get it on tape and leave. From here, we can see down there, that's the clearing. So anyway, what they've done, they printed out their own no trespassing signs, homemade. I'm assuming these are all legally binding. I have no way of knowing, so I'm not taking any chances. You can see they attached them to the trees with ordinary masking tape. These aren't even laminated. This is posted, private property, no trespassing. Violators will be prosecuted. And we've got one there, one there, one there.
This video appears as though it were a scene from a horror movie. Yet, it supposedly depicts real-life footage of a patient at Sadovich, Siberia, a mental hospital with a disturbing history, as recounted by William M. The asylum's remote location has left it shrouded in legends about its dark past, some of which served as inspiration for the 2012 film Entity. Without further ado, let's delve into the video. It showcases an emaciated man in a white hospital gown, seated on a narrow, uncomfortable-looking bed in a dimly lit, sparsely furnished room. The patient incessantly rocks back and forth, first curled up in the fetal position, then hunched over, and last, standing, even pushing the bed against the railing. Subsequently, he seems to shed his hospital gown and attempts to escape, disappearing off-screen before reappearing as he moves about the room. Eventually, he lies on the floor by his bed, emitting a bone-chilling, guttural scream that ranks among the most tormenting howls one might ever hear. Alongside this disturbing video, reports of paranormal incidents at Sadovich have become increasingly common, prompting the authorities to close the facility, a decision that appears to have been a prudent one given the unsettling nature of the footage. This particular video stands apart from the rest, as it commences with a gradual Google Maps pan across the waters, eventually revealing something startlingly clear. Beneath the ocean surface, an ominous entity emerges, spanning an astounding 96 yards in length, with a head measuring 25 yards. It materializes within a massive disturbance in the water, leaving viewers to ponder whether it might be a monstrous creature or a peculiar geological formation. What it potentially signifies, however, remains the subject of intense debate. Evidence of a cryptid that sparks controversy over its existence: the Kraken. Krakens, mythical colossal cephalopods akin to sea monsters, were initially chronicled in Scandinavian folklore, where they were believed to dwell deep within the ocean, occasionally surfacing to assail ships. This particular sighting occurs off Deception Island in the Antarctic Peninsula, placing it on the far side of the world, but no less frigid and mysterious. When a woman visited her regular Starbucks for her usual coffee, she was in for an unexpected surprise. After taking her initial sip of the coffee, she sensed something other than the beverage in her mouth. Startled, she spat out her drink, only to discover that she had come perilously close to ingesting a lizard.
It was so gross knowing that it was in my mouth.
Overwhelmed by disgust, she promptly snapped a picture of the unsettling encounter and returned to Starbucks, clutching both her drink and the lizard in order to show the employees.
Where's the legs? Where's the skin? And I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah, it just makes me sick.
The staff expressed their shock, assuring her that they had never encountered such an incident and emphasizing their commitment to maintaining a clean establishment. Starbucks issued an official statement vowing to investigate the matter and ensure the store's compliance with safety standards. It's safe to say that the woman who narrowly avoided sipping the lizard will be seeking an alternative location for her morning coffee. Have you ever encountered an image that leaves a lasting impression? I've stumbled upon this particular image multiple times, mainly on the Brazilian side of YouTube, and it has remained in my memory. I felt compelled to investigate further. I managed to locate the full video, which was shared by Oliver Fear and EXTV. It's unclear to me whether the girl in the initial selfie is the same individual featured in the other two frames from the original image. Regrettably, the original source and any additional context remain elusive. According to EXTV, the woman suddenly entered a distressed state, while her friends, mistaking it for a prank, continued recording. Her eyes turned an eerie combination of white and black, and she began to convulse while slumped in a chair. She appears to be either experiencing a seizure or possibly a case of demonic possession. Considering the unsettling expression in her eyes, I'm leaning toward the latter. What's your interpretation of the situation? One thing is certain: this is not a matter for laughter. What brought the Hunting the Dead team to this chilling randonautica experience? Their journey begins with the discovery of their first eerie clue concealed beneath a rock.
Pinpoint, bam, freaking doll. It's one of those little hey, it's just a doll.
Shortly after collecting it, the team is startled by an unsettling noise.
Yeah. What if this doll is actually haunted, bro?
Utilizing a spirit box, they inquire about the potential possession of the doll, and the response appears affirmative to me.
Or demonic attached to this doll, like my friend thinks. What? Is it yes?
Subsequently, they speculate wildly about the spirit's history. A brief online search referencing cult and Bane led me to the Church of Bane, an obscure realm where a group of power-hungry individuals worship their deity within a strict hierarchy.
And you are attached to this doll now that's in this car?
Good question. Say yes again.
Could this doll be connected to this group? If it is, Jody should heed the advice of Mask and promptly part ways with this unsettling doll. This video opens with a rather alarming scene featuring an elderly woman soundly asleep, completely unaware of the imminent danger mere inches from her face, in such a deep slumber that she remains oblivious to the presence of a potentially lethal creature investigating her. The bear, driven by curiosity rather than aggression, goes as far as sniffing her face. What unfolds in the next few moments is undeniably startling. This woman should consider herself extremely fortunate. The bear, it turns out, was not hungry. Thank God for that. Taipei, the capital city of Taiwan, is located in a region known for its elevated seismic activity. In September of the previous year, the city experienced a substantial earthquake measuring 6.9 on the Richter scale, making it the most powerful among numerous tremors that rattled the southeastern coast of the island. Despite the population's familiarity with such seismic events, this particular quake inflicted significant damage. Security camera footage from the schools vividly captured some of the destruction, creating a rather surreal scene. The video commences with students engaged in activities within the gymnasium. When the earthquake initially struck, they hurriedly sought cover, narrowly escaping harm. Just moments later, the roof tiles collapsed, leaving a scattered pile of debris across the floor. Remarkably, no injuries were reported, as the school had recently completed renovations before the quake occurred. The question arises, though, should the contractors bear responsibility for the roof's collapse? Many structures incurred damage following the earthquake, including the collapse of an entire bridge section. Nevertheless, estimates for the overall cost, from what we can discern, seem somewhat optimistic considering the extent of the destruction. During their exploration of Dogman Forest in the UK, the Exploring with Fighters YouTube team came across a series of peculiar occurrences. While deep within the dark forest, they were startled by a distant howl.
Investigating one of his encounters, he used to work on a farm.
What is that? That wasn't no geese.
That was like a howl. What noise is it?
Is that a goose?
As they pressed forward, they perceive indistinct voices emanating from a tunnel.
It's picking stuff up. I don't know if it's just picking ambient water up or if it's picking some of that up as well. You're coming back in the daytime, they're going there.
The sound of rushing water obscures the voices, but they remain convinced that they heard something unusual. Later, while discussing their tunnel experience, an odd incident unfolds behind them. Pay close attention to the house's roof. A light traverses it, suggesting someone might be observing them.
If we carried on walking, I think that would have taken us into... Because from the map, what it looked like is it was... If we carried on walking, I think that would have taken us into... Because from the map, what it looked like is it was...
My suspicion is that it could be the Dogman, and he appears to be in pursuit of his next meal. A dramatic, high-speed pursuit unfolded on Interstate 95, culminating in the apprehension of a South Florida man who stands accused of a heinous act, the stabbing of a medical professional. The Indian River Sheriff's Office provided gripping visual accounts of this incident, with video depicting a white sedan hurling northwards on the highway, exceeding 120 miles per hour.
We're going to need sticks probably on the vehicle. He's not going to stop. He's in the left lane, over 120 miles an hour.
Let us know when you go over the bridge. We're going to have suspects ready.
In a dangerous display of recklessness, the sedan maneuvered in and out of traffic, all the while pursued by a convoy of police, including the sheriff's deputies and a helicopter. The chain of events leading up to this pursuit traces back to a distressing episode on a fateful Wednesday afternoon at a pediatric clinic in Jupiter. It was at this healthcare facility that the alleged assailant, a 28-year-old Nicholas Parchesco, reportedly committed the act of stabbing. When police attempted to apprehend Parchesco, he embarked on a desperate flight, seeking to evade capture. Despite Parchesco's attempts to elude his pursuers, the skilled deputies employed tire deflation devices, commonly known as stop sticks, to slow down the speeding sedan.
Still north on I-95. Bridge. He's still north on I-95. Believe he just tried to hit sticks. He continued. He's on the outside lane. Down significantly. 158 north on I-95. I'm getting ahead. Trying to cut into the median. He's going to get stuck. He's in the water. He made it. Might make it through, guys, if he can cut across. Back southbound.
This maneuver ultimately led to the suspect's arrest. In the wake of his capture, Francesco now faces a litany of charges, most prominently the grave offense of attempted murder. At present, there is a shroud of mystery surrounding the identity and condition of the doctor.
Yes, 10 review traffic. This information, he is armed.
Subject on the ground, prone down. Stand by.
Authorities have refrained from disclosing this information, leaving the public in suspense as they await further details about this troubling and potentially life-altering incident. A woman, Kathleen Panic, was sentenced to 4 years in prison for her involvement in a series of arson incidents, including the burning of Surrey Church and a townhouse, while people were present. Ultimately, the underlying reasons that drove these actions of arson remain shrouded in uncertainty.
It used to be a church, a place of gathering for hundreds. That is until last July when Kathleen Panic decided to light the church on fire.
To us, it's just horrible that what happened. It's just going to be very difficult for us to rebuild.
The targeted church had once been a hub for congregation, hosting gatherings of hundreds of people. This changed dramatically in July, when Panic set the church ablaze. This was not her first attempt at arson against the church. Video surveillance had captured her a few days earlier, starting a smaller fire by igniting the door decorations. In March of the same year, Panic was responsible for torching a townhome, forcing its occupants to hastily evacuate.
Nobody with conscience, nobody with heart would do something like that.
I wanted to be here just to understand why. Why did she do this? And I leave the courtroom not really understanding why.
During a court hearing in February, it was revealed that Panic was under the influence of drugs, grappling with mental health issues, and had ignited these fires following disputes with her boyfriend. Nevertheless, the judge highlighted that the precise motivations driving her actions remained unclear.
We thought maybe that had something to do with it, but what we see today is there doesn't seem to be a connection.
Importantly, Panic had not undergone a psychological assessment, and there was no formal diagnosis of mental illness on record.
You lose that security. That's what happens.
The timing of the church fire coincided with a period when several churches in Canada were vandalized or set on fire in the wake of the discovery of unmarked graves at former residential schools. Some speculated that this might have influenced Panic's actions. However, the Crown had previously asserted that the fires were not motivated by hate. Regardless of the motivation, these destructive acts left people in the community living in fear, and the church congregation struggling to rebuild and move forward. In our world where the mantra is, see something, say something, one individual adhered to this principle when he believed he witnessed a raging fire inside an apartment. However, as Les Trent's report reveals, the situation took an unexpected turn when the fire brigade arrived with all 5 trucks. What had initially appeared to be a dire situation had a different story. Firefighters had been dispatched to a reported serious blaze within a high-rise building in Manhattan. Meanwhile, a curious New Yorker was observing from an apartment across the street, and his disbelief mounted as he gazed upon the scene.
I used my smartphone to zoom in, and it was unmistakably a fire, and I was like, this is an emergency.
From a distance, it truly seemed as if uncontrollable flames were devouring the building. This was certainly a case for concern.
I called 911, and within minutes, the streets were echoing with fire engines.
But then an interesting twist occurred. Those fiery apparitions were not real flames at all. They were coming from a Yule log video. This cozy video clip is something that many people typically watch during the Christmas season, not in October. What added to the illusion was that the video was being played on a large screen TV, making it seem like a genuine fire to onlookers outside. For photographer Kyrene Murray, who was observing from his apartment window, the sight appeared utterly genuine.
How did you find out that it was a false alarm?
I went down.
However, upon investigation, it turned out to be Ali Lyon's apartment responsible for this unusual spectacle.
It was a rainy Saturday and I had to work a little bit, so I got my laptop, I made some tea, I put on some candles and the fireplace.
Howdy, neighbor.
Welcome.
Inside Edition brought these neighbors together, and Ali revealed how she had chosen the fire on her TV app.
So this is where the fire happens. I was having a cup of tea.
Oh,
at my
nice.
window.
I was having a cup of tea here.
Yeah.
This is the one that was on.
That's the one that caused the false alarm.
I really do need to get curtains now.
Instead of witnessing actual flames through the window, Ali can now exchange friendly waves with her newfound acquaintance, who in turn waves back from his kitchen window. We've certainly encountered some challenging days, but this experience takes things to a whole new level. Picture this. You decide to take a break for lunch and pull up to your local Subway, only to be met with a horrifying sight, an uncontrolled blaze. This video is particularly astonishing because it shows just how advanced the fire had become by the time the authorities arrived. The flames had completely consumed the location, rendering it unrecognizable. As you watch the footage, you can see it disintegrating, succumbing to the overwhelming structural damage. The clip comes to an abrupt end, but in the background, you can faintly hear the sounds of sirens approaching. Help was on its way. The video commences with Hallie, a YouTuber who finds herself in a corner, visibly shaken, while recording a toy car situated at the far end of the room, believing it to be possessed. She cautiously proclaims this in a timid voice. Gradually, she gathers the courage to approach the toy car for a closer look. The car's lights are rapidly flashing, and it emits an unusual humming noise.
Can you shut it off?
Unexpectedly, it springs to life. I don't know if this was a remote-controlled car, as I can't spot an antenna, and there seems to be red buttons on the back for producing sound effects, which Hallie wasn't operating. In fact, she was on the opposite side of the room when the car spontaneously activated. The perplexing part is how this could have occurred. According to Hallie, everyone else in the house was asleep. I'm eager to hear your thoughts on what happened to this video. In Japan, a young boy tragically lost his family, who were mysteriously discovered lifeless when he was found locked in the garage. The boy subsequently created a poignant drawing to depict his ordeal. The YouTube channel The Fourth Wall shares the harrowing story, revealing that the house now appears to be haunted. Here's some video footage from one of the rooms, where the home's new owner captured even more unsettling encounters. It sounds like a human voice, yet there was no one present, and the sound was strangely inhuman. Additionally, a stationary camera recorded something eerie in the garage. Did you notice the feet? Another camera placed outside the garage recorded an absence of any visible presence, creating a profoundly disconcerting atmosphere. The questions abound. Was this house haunted prior to the family's tragic loss? Or did the entity arrive afterwards? Did this entity lock the boy in the garage? Or was it perhaps protecting him? Many inquiries remain unanswered, but in my perspective, whatever lingers here is seemingly eager to unleash havoc once more. If you're interested in more spine-tingling videos like this, Be sure to visit Fourth Wall's channel, as all of their videos include English subtitles. On February 25, 2022, a seismic event of significant magnitude, measuring 6.2 on the Richter scale, struck off the coast of West Sumatra, Indonesia. Within the Pasaman Regency, unsuspecting patrons inside a convenience store were going about their daily routines when the ground beneath them began to tremble. The store's CCTV footage recorded 4 harrowing scenes as people desperately sought for refuge. At first, everything appeared normal, as the cashier attentively observed 2 children leaving the store. However, the tranquility was instantly shattered when the earthquake struck without warning, prompting a frenzied rush for safety. The cashier, clutching her own child, took cover between the store's shelves. This dramatic scene was also captured from an alternate angle, illustrating the chaotic scene as items were flung from the shelves and the earthquake's force disrupted the camera's image quality. The third image portrays the sheer violence of a 6.2 magnitude earthquake as the camera struggled to maintain stability. In the fourth frame, a camera placed outside the store recorded 2 men urgently fleeing into the streets, seeking the safest refuge. In a compilation shot, we witnessed the abrupt transition from a state of normalcy to sheer panic. Evidently, the residents were reluctant to abandon their damaged homes, driven by the fear that the government might not include them in the reimbursement process. In the city of Corunna, Spain, a remarkable stroke of luck befell a man who was leaving a laundromat having just collected his laundered clothes. Unexpectedly, the unthinkable happens right before his eyes. As he strolls past a tumble dryer situated in the corner, its drum was in motion. With his hands occupied by his laundry, he deftly used his feet to open the dryer's door. But only moments after he had exited the laundromat, an astonishing event occurred. The tumble dryer's door swung open, revealing a faint flicker of flames emanating from within. That small flame rapidly transformed into a ferocious inferno, generating shockwaves that shattered the shop's front windows and sent every other object inside the laundromat flying, creating one of the most astounding explosions you could ever witness in a laundromat. It raises the question, what if that man had been right in front of the door when it exploded? Under the bright Florida sun, a daring individual embarked on a solitary kayak fishing adventure, encountering an extraordinary and almost otherworldly event. The initial moments of the video depict the man as he shares his fishing expedition while paddling away from the shore towards a nearby bridge.
It's pretty snarky out here. We're gonna start here at the middle of the bridge and I think work to the left.
As he successfully baits and catches multiple fish, he is taken aback when his next lure attracts a considerably larger fish, leaving him in a state of disbelief.
Got him out. Oh my gosh! Holy sh! Oh my God! What?
Startled and aware of the gravity of the situation, the man is compelled to swiftly sever the bait from his fishing gear to ensure his own safety, and at long last, persuade the shark to disengage and swim away. When the propeller on this small plane abruptly ceases to rotate, it found itself in a dire need of an emergency landing. The individual recording the unfolding events calmly remarks, "We're now experiencing engine failure." Despite the unsettling circumstances of their propeller freezing in mid-air, the man maintains his composure. The skies above the hilly terrain look overcast, and the aircraft appears to be grappling with powerful winds. Amid the tension, the man instructs, "Find a level surface so that rescue vehicles can reach us," placing the onus squarely on the pilot and emphasizing the critical role of the pilot's experience. After a search, they identify a suitable area in the water for a forced landing. Once again, the man underscores their reliance on the captain. The plane begins its rapid descent, making contact with the ground with a heavy thud. Although they do strike a rock, both occupants emerge unscathed from the ordeal, and the man recording the incident graciously thanks the captain for saving their lives. The captain, in turn, acknowledges that he had previously informed someone that the plane was not in suitable condition. Within this dilapidated structure lies concealed mysteries of a sinister nature. YouTuber Dima Maslinikov embarks on an exploration of an enigmatic ghost manor, where the echoing emptiness of its shattered hallways conceals inexplicable noises.
Мещерские, а также призраки рода Демидовых.
As he navigates through the desolate interior, he finds himself repeatedly attuned to auditory disturbances that grow increasingly pronounced. Assessing the second floor and subsequently identifying a damaged pathway leading to a third.
Импровизированная лестница. Ой, ладно. Пол весь прогнил. Понятно, почему там балки валяются тут. Любой шаг, и это может все обвалиться. Второй, это балки с третьего этажа.
In one of the rooms, his investigation unveils an intriguing object resting on a table.
Видим? Не знаю на что, но, видимо, кто-то явно тут недавно тусовался. Бомжи-пати, как говорится, на кровати.
The nature of this discovery prompts the question, could this artifact be linked to some form of witchcraft or occult practice? Such speculation is not unwarranted, considering the eerie ambience and unsettling sounds that pervade this place. Both its appearance and the auditory indications encountered within its walls contribute to an overwhelming sense that this place may indeed be haunted. County police are actively investigating 2 incidents of home intrusion that occurred on the previous morning, one of which resulted in a car being stolen. Simultaneously, over in New Jersey, a local police department is issuing a public advisory in response to a series of similar crimes. Surveillance footage captures the unsettling scene of 2 burglars approaching a residence in Franklin Square, Nassau County, early Tuesday morning. Once inside, the family residing there recounted that these intruders made off with 2 purses and a wallet, all while the family slept, unaware of the unfolding breach of their security.
This is how they gained access into the residence through this door.
One concerned mother, who wished to remain anonymous, expressed her fears for her safety.
We have a luxury vehicle in the driveway, and I think if they were coming for something, it maybe potentially could have been that.
Fortunately, the burglars did not succeed in locating the keys to the family's vehicle. In an adjacent incident, Nassau County Police report that, on the same morning in Loudoun County, a trio of individuals shattered the windows of a residence, seized a set of keys, and made off with the Maserati. Earlier this week, CBS reported that police in New Jersey are also grappling with a troubling pattern of thieves breaking into homes and stealing key fobs.
They are getting more brazen. Well, now our campaign of getting out to the public to lock your doors, a lot of people are listening to that, but now what that's causing is also them trying to gain access to the key fobs, which now are relatively usually in the garage, a close proximity to there.
It's extremely unnerving that in this day and age you can't even have a nice thing for yourself without worrying someone's going to come and take it.
This trend is exemplified by incidents such as the break-in that occurred in Verona. The Nutley County Police Department, which shared videos of attempted break-ins over the past few weeks, is equally alarmed by this growing trend. Consequently, homeowners are fortifying their home security systems in response to these alarming security breaches. On October 30th of 2020, an earthquake of magnitude ranging from 6.6 to 7.0 struck approximately 9 miles off the coast of Samos, a Greek island situated to the south of Izmir. Within the city, employees at an advertising firm found themselves in a harrowing situation as they huddled within their offices, anxiously hoping that the building would remain intact and not crumble beneath them. In the footage, we witness a telling moment as a young woman clad in green reveals her priorities, risking everything to retrieve her phone. Elsewhere in the office, hanging light fixtures sway precariously in the lobby, while the girl in green seeks something to grasp for stability. Simultaneously, another individual makes a frantic dash to seek shelter beneath a desk, anticipating the impending tremors. In the moments leading up to a light fixture crashing from the ceiling, desks and chairs skid across the floor, and office employees struggle to secure themselves to stable objects. One woman narrowly avoids being struck by a falling printer. The primary seismic event was followed by a staggering 1,400 aftershocks, with 43 of them registering as minor quakes with a magnitude of 4.0. Moreover, the initial earthquake set off a tsunami, resulting in damage to several coastal towns within the province. At first glance, this appears to be a typical scene of an empty clearing within a forest. However, upon closer inspection, one can discern eerie sounds of screaming within the audio. The individual who posted this video speculates that what they captured might be the unsettling cries of multiple skinwalkers engaged in some sort of communication within the Gila National Forest. In Navajo culture, a skinwalker is regarded as a malevolent witch possessing the ability to transform, possess, and conceal themselves as animals. It's worth noting that skinwalkers are shrouded in mystery outside the Navajo culture, as those from this tradition tend to be hesitant to disclose or discuss skinwalker lore with individuals outside of their community. Whether those chilling screams heard in the recording are indeed linked to skinwalkers or merely a peculiar echo remain uncertain. Nonetheless, it's evident that the individual who initially shared this footage made a hasty exit from the area, perhaps seeking to distance themselves from the enigmatic and unsettling encounter. TikTok user K-House stirred up a sense of dread among internet users by sharing a hair-raising experience. While traveling with friends, this group found themselves entangled in a series of eerie incidents, all of which were meticulously documented in a collection of video clips that swiftly went viral. The initial clip opens with the group hearing unsettling screams emanating from a shadowy forest.
That was a female screaming, Phil. Please, please, please. No.
With cautious trepidation, they venture further into the woods, only to stumble upon peculiar objects suspended from the trees.
One right there on the ground. On the ground. What? That right there. What the is that? Dude, that's that. No.
In a spine-chilling twist, a sudden, ear-piercing scream fills the air.
Oh, no.
Causing the group to flee in terror, culminating in an abrupt end to the video.
Oh, no.
What makes this encounter even more disconcerting is a subsequent revelation. A friend of the campers meticulously analyzed the footage, revealing an obscure detail. By enhancing the image and slowing it down, a discernible face peers out from behind a tree. While some viewers suggested it was an owl, the majority remained skeptical, given the eerie context. Consequently, the mysterious screams and the enigmatic figure have ignited a spectrum of supernatural theories, with some positing the involvement of entities like the Wendigo, a skinwalker, or even a banshee.
Oh, no.
In a subsequent clip posted weeks later, the TikToker conveyed a belief that something paranormal may have become attached to him, or that a spiritual entity has been trailing him. As he speaks, an unusual incident unfolds in the background as a book mysteriously moves.
Totally fine, just a little scarred from that memory. But I wanted to mention to you guys that I've been experiencing some weird phenomenons around in the house.
Further fueling speculation of a paranormal connection, These unsettling clips have incited a frenzy of activity on TikTok.
Totally fine, just a little scarred from that memory. But I wanted to mention to you guys that I have been experiencing some weird phenomena around in the house.
With numerous viewers genuinely entertaining the notion that these events may possess a paranormal origin. As always, the TikToker turns to their audience, inviting viewers to share their theories in the comments below, thus opening the door to a broader discussion on this concerning encounter.
Please, please, please. No, 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 no. Oh, no, 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 no.
A fire erupted within the jail's entrance area, and according to the Lake County Sheriff's Office in Indiana, it was ignited by a visitor. Surveillance footage captured the individual in question spreading what appears to be a flammable accelerant across the floor, and subsequently igniting it. There were no reported injuries, and the Sheriff's Office had assured us that there was no substantial damage caused by the incident. Who tries to start a fire in a sheriff's office? What is wrong with people? Thanks for watching. Stay vigilant, friends.